Hey, this is John Manna with Erick Freitas, filmmaker, and we're going to talk a lot about his most recent film, Girl in the Closet. Eric, I know this one has been a while in the making from a story perspective. We're going to get really into the film itself, how we got there, some of the challenges in getting the film together, but maybe you could start at a high level. Where did the story come from, and how did that kind of evolve?
Well, before I start with that, I do want to point out that John is a producer on Girl in the Closet. He's giving
Yes.
me all the credit.
Full disclosure.
This idea came a long time ago. I would say, I think it was maybe 2020-ish even. I was at that time kind of getting fascinated with the twist ideas, and how they work. And because I was thinking that a successful twist always just nails. Like, doesn't it just feel great when you watch a movie and the twist just works? And I was like, how does that always, like, how do if I can understand that, even if I can halfway understand that, that's going to add an element to my storytelling it's just like another tool that I can use, and it's a good tool, and it's a hard tool, and that's why I knew it was worth learning. So I started studying how twists work, reading about them, and blah, blah, blah. And my friend originally had an idea of a short film about what seemed like a superhero being imprisoned by a villain, but at the end of it, you realize it's the villain being imprisoned by the hero. And from there, we played around with the idea, and I liked it, and we put it away, like most things. And then the whole idea was a character you thought was good was actually bad. And that's the basis of this twist. And in fact, the basis of the twist is Saturday Morning Coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. Which originally didn't have a twist in it, right?
Right.
But as you took a look at the script that my son and I had written,
Yeah.
you talked about ways to really take it the next step. And not only did you suggest a twist, you were bold enough and brash enough to say, let's lead with the twist.
Yeah.
Let's show up front,
Yeah.
okay, and let's take that risk.
Yeah.
So people live with this fake information through the whole way.
Yeah.
And you did that very successfully in Saturday Morning Coffee.
Right.
Now, in this film, right, I think you take it to another level. All right, this is, not your character waking up in a shed and
Right.
not really knowing what it's about.
Right.
This is what seems to be a young girl huddled in a closet,
Right.
shivering, mumbling to herself, clearly very much in danger.
Right.
You were telling me about the story going back to 2020, but then you also pulled a lot more into the characters, I think, from what I saw and what you built there.
Well, there was the misdirection was a little deeper, and I'm not. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. There's one moment in the script where I do feel like I missed a great opportunity of a great because a good misdirection works both ways.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where he looks in the closet where I feel like, and if I can reshoot, and I'll be completely honest because we're filmmakers talking to filmmakers, I wish he did something that a father would do coming home from work.
Yep.
Like maybe take off his hat or his shirt, right?
Yeah.
And start putting on other clothes. Because like if you thought he is the home invader and he started doing that, you'd be like, wow, this guy's a weirdo.
Yeah.
But then you look back on it and you're like, oh, he was just
Normal.
coming home from
Yeah.
work. So I feel like maybe elements of the twist didn't work there. But I will say, and I put this out there, I was less happier with the final product of Girl in the Closet than I was with Saturday Morning Coffee.
Okay.
Saturday Morning Coffee, I was like, this is going to work every time.
Yeah.
Girl in the Closet, I was like, this is going to work some of the time.
Yeah.
So I started getting a lot more praise the way that I wanted the praise than I thought I would. So now I feel a lot better, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, and let me say this. So Saturday Morning Coffee was a roller coaster, and we had more characters. We had an infant. We had so much crammed into one shoot. I think it was a bit of a miracle that we pulled out something that was kind of as cohesive as it was. Girl in the Closet, on the other hand, I saw a difference in how you approached the filmmaking aspect. We still shot it in one day.
Yeah.
But you brought in some additional team members, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
had somebody that was doing hair, makeup, special effects.
Right.
You had a PA on set that had done PA work before, right? So tell me about that as well. What did you bring when you headed into this production? What did you decide to do differently, and how did that impact the quality of the film?
I just find it a lot easier when you have people who are dedicated to doing one thing on set.
Yeah.
And I'm just getting to the point where I just rather pay. If I have the budget for it, I'd rather just pay somebody to do the thing that they're asked to do. having a special effects person on set and not having to worry about that. And not only did she do special effects, but she kind of did the set dressing for the bloody bed and stuff like that. And it's just so, I mean, filmmaking is a team sport. It's very collaborative. And when you have a team, and I'm doing everything I can to just always have a team, because I can do everything myself, but I don't always feel like the quality is there when you're doing everything yourself.
Right.
Something will suffer. I watch a lot of YouTube videos of people that do it themselves, and a lot of times they're cameramen first, and the stories are okay.
Yeah.
And they're not actors first, you know, but they're shooting themselves, you know. So there's that. Like, I feel like I'm more of a storyteller actor first than I am a camera person. Yeah. So my camera work isn't as sharp as this. So, you know, I have to pay for a DP and things like that.
Sure.
It made me realize after that just paying people from now on and not begging for free stuff. It's just, you just get, people show up to set happy.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And you can push a little bit more out of somebody when you're paying them and they're happy to do it. So for me, I always knew that, and I originally only did paid sets, and I originally spent a lot of money on every position, and I also feel like there was a bloatedness, an unneeded bloatedness to some of those earlier projects.
Yep.
And so I went the other way, and I did just me do everything and spend no money.
Yeah.
And now I'm working my way back up, and because like in this whole new world, I do feel like there's a correction going on in filmmaking, and I think I'm learning with a lot of people what that new correction is.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And you know, there's a dirty word in filmmaking, and it's called collaboration. And the rule is, if you see anyone looking for help on a film shoot, and they use the word looking for collaborators, they're basically looking for free work.
Yeah.
However, I think what you've successfully done is you've brought people into the project that you paid.
Yeah.
You know, not exorbitant money. Everyone is in it and investing time. They're not necessarily getting paid. You know, ultimately
union rates.
However, they're getting paid, and you do treat them like collaborators as well. Because I saw people on that set that were, you know, setting up the next room, putting blood on the wall, ultimately cleaning the blood off the wall right before the owner of the home came home after the shoot. Yeah. So there was a team there in complete concert, doing their job and any other job that was necessary. They were getting paid, but I just felt like that team was true collaborators.
Yeah, it's nice. And I'm a big fan of teamwork. I'm a big fan of teams. You know, I think that's one of my not few, how would I say this? One of the things that fascinate me about team sports is more the teamwork.
Yeah.
And like in football, the thing that fascinates me the most in football is how 11 guys can do a synchronized movement all at once while another 11 guys try to stop them. And isn't that like an allegory for filmmaking? It's 7 people trying to move in a synchronized planned movement that we plan for days and prep for days, and just being attacked by weather changes, by everything that can go wrong, trying to disrupt that synchronized movement, and how to have the patience and grace to roll with the punches, how to discover some of those changes and some of those mishaps. There's a discovery of something wonderful and beautiful. Oh, we didn't know we can do that. Oh my God, just leave it that way. Actually, it felt funny, but it's perfect. That you get a lot of that. So yeah, I think Girl with the Closet is more like the production experience for me is more like what I'm gonna keep doing. Yep. You know what? And to be honest with you, I enjoyed coming early and setting up Crafty for crew.
Sure.
And people don't know this. I accidentally ordered a box of hot chocolate instead of a box of coffee, which was, and no one told me. No one told me until after lunch.
That's collaboration. They showed up at 7:30 or 8, all hungry for this coffee, and we all poured hot cocoa in our cups, and we're like, "Hey, I guess Eric likes hot cocoa." All right, we're doing hot cocoa today.
Oh my goodness, I was like, why, you know, like no one, you guys are so nice.
Yeah.
I'm out there with my cup of coffee that I brought from home, just drinking my cup of coffee. You guys are silently.
It was all good. Hey, I know I've been talking to Erick, the filmmaker, and I'm going to come back to Erick, the filmmaker.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Erick, the guy who wrote this, and also played one of the leads, not the lead, and I'm going to say the lead.
Yeah.
Ultimately, there is one word of dialogue in this entire film. There is one word of dialogue in the film, and even that word, I don't know, was originally in the script. That might have been an ad lib.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about a film that has no dialogue. Did you intend it that way, or when you sat down and wrote it, just no dialogue was necessary. And
I love successful modern silent anything.
yeah,
I really do. It's one of my favorite thing. I'm a big fan of silent, wordless comic books. If I find out there's a good comic book out there that was made, like in fact, Robot Dreams was recently made into a Hulu movie, maybe the last 2 years. Also excellent, very underappreciated. I think it's a 5-star movie. Robot Dreams is a great example of a silent comic. I wish I can remember this artist's name, Otto something. He does great horror silent comics, one word to nothing. I'm a big fan of that, just because it really challenges you as a writer. Like if you can get your point across silently,
yeah,
like completely, like you're like no stone unturned,
right.
people completely understand your story, then either A, you come to realize the dialogue's not needed, or B, that dialogue is going to make it even better.
Yeah.
And usually if you have the story figured out without dialogue first, the dialogue that you add will make it better if you know what you're doing. So yeah, I do have a fascinating. I mean, even with Saturday Morning Coffee, not a lot of dialogue. In fact, remember I cut a lot of it. I was cutting it
That is true.
and especially when you're working in twists. The problem with twists is like you have to be in a situation like the more information you get, the information has to be very precise that you give them. And when you speak and you do dialogue, a lot of times that could screw the twist up. So you have to be, because everything has to have duality to it.
Yep.
Which makes it harder.
Yeah,
and so and if you want to make your life easier, just cut it. Because then you're like, well, if he says he had breakfast at this time, that doesn't make sense. You know, like you start doing all that crazy math.
Sure.
And once I get to that crazy math point, I just cut. Because I'm like, I don't need to deal with this.
Correct.
It's fine.
Because poorly done twists generally leave the audience feel cheated. Because fake or dialogue is in there that clearly took them down the wrong road, but the dialogue in retrospect's not natural. It was written specifically to head fake them. Yeah. So that makes sense. So back to this film, from a production perspective, for filmmakers out there that maybe so far the films they've made, it's been kind of themselves with their camera, with some friends that they know that act, that kind of pitch in, and it's been things that at the end of the day they're learning their craft, but they haven't yet gotten to a point where they're submitting to festivals or they really are looking to take the next step. What can you share about how this film was shot, in speaking specifically to filmmakers who are looking to take a next step up and do something a little bit more cinematic like this and have a little bit more teeth to it?
I think the word cinematic starts with story, and I think a lot of people misunderstand that. I think if you're only concerned about cinematic visually, you're going to be doing a lot of commercials, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The story, the effort that you put in to make things look beautiful, you need to put that in the story too. And it needs to be the same effort. I see so many wonderful camera guys, DP directors, just wonderful, beautiful, unbelievable shots. But the stories are, they're fine, they're okay, they're saying something, but the effort that they put into making it beautiful isn't there in the story.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are okay. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I think a lot of times people, with writing and storytelling, a lot of times, because you write every day.
Yeah.
Every day you write and you read stories and you watch movies, especially if you're a filmmaker. But if you don't practice in the art of writing and then showing someone and seeing their reaction to it over and over again, constantly. Yep. You're not going to know what is really working, or you're not even going to know what it feels like to write something where here's the best way. Here's actually really good advice. If you write something and you show it to someone and they want to show it to someone else, you've nailed it.
It's good.
There's nothing better than that.
Right.
If you write something and if they're a creative professional and you know they're not afraid to give you good notes and they say it's good, that's good. If you write something and you show it to a stranger and you know this person isn't scared of hurting your feelings for whatever reason, and they say it's good, that's good. If you write something and you show it to a friend or family member and they say it's good, it's a waste of time.
And the family member thing is a great point. So when I've written screenplays in the past, or I got a short film and I've got a rough draft or a second draft, I will show it to certain family members, but all I want from them is I want to quiz them later as to what was the story about.
Yeah.
And what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Or what do you think happened at the end? I want to hear from them what they took away. I want their perception of a film. and I'm not really looking for, you know, how should I redevelop this character? I just want to know, how did this film affect them, and what did they think? But you're right. Advice. Not all advice is created equal.
Yeah, and honestly, as you know, I look for things that are being repeated in the criticism, like what are a lot of people who don't know each other saying, if they're saying the same thing, and I don't like what I'm hearing. That's probably something I need to address. Another thing, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got is look at people's body language, or if you know, if someone reads something, or I know you can't see them because they're on the internet, but you could feel, even through text, you can feel a difference in something, you know, when someone is like, how do I put this to them? I don't know how I feel. Or when someone's just like, yo, this was actually really good. I really liked it. You know, you can feel the excitement, right? Just like if anyone was inviting you to something. If someone says, hey, do you want to go to the diner? Or, hey, I got free tickets to the Yankees game. That text is going to come in a little differently, right? You're going to feel something through it, right? I look for that. I look for the words, and what they say mean very little to me. It's kind of like everything else that comes around it, right? So that's kind of like what I look for. And it's okay. And I have a lot of grace for people that don't exactly know how to put it into words how they feel. And to me, that just lets me know either A, it needs more work. No, that's actually all it means. Because a lot of times people aren't professionals at giving criticism, but they know when they like something and they can't help themselves. And in terms of, you can feel the energy. So if I don't feel that energy, that's on me. You know, that's how I look at it.
I'm shifting gears on you here. You are a horror film aficionado. You grew up watching horror films. I've been out with you at festivals, and you're like a little kid, you know, buying DVDs off the shelf of, you know, a director's cut of some film I never heard of. Tell me your philosophy on monsters in films, and from a filmmaker perspective, that balance between getting a glimpse of them and getting too much of them in the film. And I know, you know, I'm talking about some discussions we had in post on Girl in the Closet. Run with that however you'd like.
You know, I'm a less is more guy. I'm a big less is more guy. I always am, and I always will be. And to bring it to Girl in the Closet, at the end we see very little of this girl, this monstrous girl. And it's a shame. Well, it's not a shame. It's a shame because the hair, the makeup's so fucking great. It's great. She does so great, and it's so scary. But the truth is, and this is a rule in most horror, the more you see a character, the less scary they become. Because what is in the heart of fear is the unknown. That is the basis of all fear, is not knowing. All fear. You can take this into discrimination. You can take this into racism. You can take this into opening a dark hallway and seeing darkness and not knowing what's in the darkness. That's why your brain does that. You can take this, if you don't know something, your brain will automatically replace it with fear. Because your brain, the last thing your brain ever wants to know is to not know. You know? And if you look at a lot of horror movies, Silence of the Lambs, I know Godzilla is infamous for this. The amount of minutes the actual monster or villain is in the movie compared to the movie's runtime is actually you don't realize it until you actually see the stat. Like I forgot how many times you actually see Hannibal Lecter in Silence of the Lambs, but it's shocking. Like whatever, and then I think in Godzilla, the first American remake, he was in a total 8 minutes. But you don't feel it. Because there's so much else going on.
Interesting.
And, so that's so that I know that anytime that we have an unnatural being, the reason why it's unnatural is because you don't have enough time to download information.
And you know, I'll share a little more detail on this. I mean, the original rough cut of this film, we had this creature on for 7 full seconds. You immediately wanted to tone it down to less than 3 seconds, and we did. And it packed a nice punch. And then once a week or so, I'd hear from you, I think maybe we need it to 4 seconds, or maybe we could go 5, or can you bring it? And
with an apology.
Always with an apology. Absolutely. I think it was the little kid Eric who just wanted to stare at the monster, you know, like, you know. And then there was the filmmaker, and I've grown into this. I know it's right. And I think he landed on a real perfect, I think we were in it 3.5.
I think we landed on 3. Well, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I think it was a tough one here because it's a short film.
Yeah.
It's a very short film. It's in the 3.5 minute
Yeah.
range. So do you ride it out and just kind of let this demon have its glory moment? And I think we accomplished it. For those who've seen it already or see it, we've accomplished it with the idea you had. Very quick on the visual, but we let her voice ride out the credits. So as you sit there and listen to the rest of the credits roll, the whatever got under your skin doesn't leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a good point. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't leave you.
right.
Yeah. I like that. And I hate to turn around on you, but let me ask you, going into this, when you first read the script, what were you thinking?
You know, when I first read the script, because I really didn't know anything about it. You know, as I went through the script the first time, I loved the pacing. I loved the visual imagery that was in the screenplay. Again, no dialogue, so it's a matter of kind of picturing everything that's happening. And it's set up as a very traditional kind of intruder vibe feel.
Yeah.
And then as I saw kind of the shift unfold, I found myself getting very curious. And then there's really a crescendo towards the end of the film that rattles the cage. So to answer your question specifically, when I had read it, I was still trying to connect some pieces in the film, but I knew that I wanted to be part of making this right away. I wanted to see this film, so that's really what came out of that.
Yeah, that's fun. And how was it for you producing it? Because you just came in.
Yeah.
You didn't do a lot of prep, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you did a lot more prep for Saturday Morning Coffee. I did most of the prep for this one, if not all
Definitely.
of it. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, I mean, what was kind of nice about that, showing up a little late to the game, was, you'd done so much of that. The things you weren't able to do is we were working in a house, and the rooms in the house were pretty small.
Yeah.
And you had your shot list, which was really nicely timed. You put good work and effort into that, and we were ready to kick it.
Yeah.
And then when we started moving the furniture to clear space for it, we ran into some challenges about we aren't able to get as far back as we thought, and this and that. But of course, Jeffrey Duncanson, our jack of all trades, master of most, who was handling not only the camera but the lighting and the sound. He was able to pivot a bit to honor the shot list, but came up with some creative ideas. So I think it was great for me because enough was in place, and you had a good team there, folks that I had never met, and everybody was just ready. They were kicking, they were ready. So from that respect, it was easy. The biggest challenges we had were logistics and some blocking, because you can't set up those rooms the night before. Somebody lives there.
Yeah.
And
do you was there any? What do you think were there as a producer any lessons you learned that you're like, okay, that's how I'm gonna, or even if it was like a hard way mistake, or was there anything that you took away, or was like, oh, I'm gonna do it that way from now on, or
I think the biggest one especially for this type of film is the effort you put into securing the special effects resource. She was great, and as you said, she did much more than what I expected.
Yeah.
Yes, she took care of the makeup and special effects for the one character, but she was involved in a lot more of how this film looked than I had expected. And I think that was it. If she was not there and we attempted to do something like that on our own,
we wouldn't be doing this interview right now.
We wouldn't be talking about this film.
We'd be burying it, not talking about it. Like, we don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, and burying it, you don't have to bury it anymore. You just hit the delete button.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is nice. But that was a great call.
I would say for me, the lesson, and we could probably wrap it up after this, but for me, the lesson that I learned, I always knew the team thing, especially paying, was something that I would land back on. But the lesson that I learned is, I think I am still not completely used to acting and directing. And there was a scene where I had to cry, and I got to cry.
Yeah.
But I wasn't all there. I was physically crying, but I was still worried about so much directing stuff in my head. And I tried not to. You were gracious enough to give me 45 minutes before my scene, and you guys were very good with me. And and all that stuff, and I had everything I needed, but it's very hard to I'm looking at Lena Dunham, and I'm looking at Woody Allen, and I'm looking at all these like writer directors who are doing these emotional scenes and directing. I'm like, this is I struggle with this, and I remember looking back at the footage, and I played, and I'm going to be completely honest here so people can see this. I played the scene the same way every time, which if I was directing myself, I would have never done.
Yeah.
And I didn't have because my brain was, no matter how much I pushed, my brain was still like 15% director, producer, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't push the scene. I didn't give, in the edit, enough different takes,
Sure.
enough different emotional beats, enough risk taking, enough failure.
Yeah.
That even though I think what I did is fine, but I just did fine over and over again.
Yeah.
So next time I do that, because I am going to master this, because it's hard, and I'm a crazy person, and when I discover something hard, I want to learn it, because I know, I tell my son this all the time, doing hard things will make your life easier, and this is a hard thing for me, and I know the day that I can comfortably act and direct, it will make my life easier overall. So that is the thing that I walked away the most. It's like, I still have work to do. I don't have the fix yet. I think it's just going to be reps. Like, it's just going to be me getting used to it. Because, like, I don't think I could ask for more time off to prepare for a scene like that.
I think some of that could fix it with you working on it. But here's what I think, and we talked about this briefly in an unrelated way, but let's connect them now. I think we needed some additional resources still there, because we needed someone monitoring the shot list, someone, looking at the script. Because I was doing that half the time, you were doing that half the time. Even when you were engaged in that acting scene, I was wrestling with that. In fact, I wasn't even in the room for those shots, because I was doing the slate, stepping out, looking at what we're doing next. A little more help there, having people for continuity, for the script, and for the shot list, making sure we didn't miss anything, would free you up, I think, more in those situations.
I would like to think so, but there was just, I felt there was a section of my brain that I couldn't delete. I just couldn't delete, because it was still, this was my, it was my shoot day. I directed, I brought Crafty, I ordered the wrong coffee, lunch was coming in, I want, it's like, so I want everyone to be out by 12 hours. I don't want to ask too much from people. No matter what, that's playing, and when I'm acting on someone else's set, I don't have any of that.
Worry about that. No.
Yeah, no, and I show up, I listen to my music, I read a book.
Right.
If
the lighting's a problem, you just sit and wait. They'll fix it.
Or if I do have a suggestion, I really think about before saying it, because I don't want to interrupt everyone's workflow. I kind of watch production as a sport when I am acting, and I'm not producing. So
makes sense.
You're right. There's no way having extra people won't help.
Right.
But I also think it's a reps thing too. I think it's a little bit of both, to be honest.
Makes perfect sense. All right, so tell me a little bit, just kind of put a wrap on Girl in the Closet. It's out there, but tell me a little bit about your release plan for it, and overall, what your thoughts are in terms of as that gets added to the collection of recent films. Tell me a little bit more about the YouTube channel and what's going on with that.
Well, the YouTube channel is, this YouTube channel, I do think the YouTube Filmmaker is where I'm supposed to be. I think that where everyone's supposed to be right now. If you're a filmmaker, it kind of lets you really know what's going on, how your product is interacting with everyone, and it kind of lets you just do your own thing, and that's the beauty of it. Whether or not people are reacting to it or not, you put it up there, it's in the world, anyone has to see what you want to see, you have the link, they can look you up, blah blah blah. My channel, Girl in the Closet, is the best organic performing video short film I've ever made. In terms of YouTube. I didn't push it on social media yet. I held off. I wanted to give it 24 hours to see how it would do with no social media push. I sent it to maybe 10 people. And that, if you know anything about YouTube, that's not going to do much for you. I've sent every one of my videos to 10 people and did a social media push. So I don't think those 10 people affected it. And then all of a sudden, first day was normal, 50 views, 60 views, okay. And then all of a sudden it went up to 112 in an hour. I was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, every time I opened it, it was jumping. And then in 24 hours, we had, I know this isn't big numbers for a lot of you people, but I had 1,000 views, and these were organic views. These were not, me cooking the numbers in any way. And that, I think last I checked, was 1,700 today. 3 days later. So that's a little exciting. And And again, I haven't pushed it on social media at all
Right.
yet, and I'm going to now. I'm going to give it a few more days to see how well it does. But that's very exciting. And I'll be honest with you. I think there's a few things that just work on YouTube. I think the thumbnail with the monster sells.
Yep.
That's a big selling point on YouTube.
Sure.
And all right, I'm going to say this. Everyone knows this. YouTube thumbnails, you will live and die by your thumbnails. And the more you do YouTube videos, the more you'll see that. And I think this is a good example of that. I think Saturday Morning Coffee. I think that's the best thumbnail we have. I did A/B testing on it, and that is the best. I just don't know what would be a more, but in Girl in the Closet, I didn't want to put the girl on there, the monster girl, because I was like, that reveals the twist. What's the point? Yeah. But we did I put up 3 different thumbnails, and YouTube was like, this is getting a 53% click-through rate compared to everything else.
Yeah.
You
And with Saturday Morning Coffee, I know you also did a little bit of marketing on it and pushed that out. So it's gotten some great exposure.
Oh yeah. I did ads. I did some Instagram ads, and I did a lot of emailing and a lot of personal text and a lot of personal email. Like I wrote no boilerplate. Like everything was specifically to the person I was sending it to. I did Instagram ads, and I did that, and then I gave it like 2 or 3 months, and then I did YouTube ads. And I paid the same amount of money for the YouTube ads as the Instagram ads. The Instagram ads, I paid $200, and I think I got an extra maybe 1,000 views, from that. Yeah. I paid the YouTube, which is another $200, and I got 20,000 views.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that's like, are YouTube ads just better than Instagram ads? Maybe, maybe not. But it's also like the YouTube ads are more specific to the people that would click on something like that.
Sure.
So there's a little bit more of that. And I also think it's a successful movie. I think if you sit and you watch it, you kind of want to watch it.
It's gotten into about a dozen festivals so far.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
We've got a couple of awards, including you in Best Actor
Best
in a thriller.
Actor!
Sure, absolutely. And I think the laurels that are on that thumbnail as well. I mean, look, it's all part of it, right?
Yeah.
And again, thanks for the update on the YouTube channel. And what I love about it too is there's a lot of YouTube channels out there talking about making videos and shows and things like that. You're making really cinematic films, albeit short ones.
Filmmaker first.
But they're not your typical YouTube or Instagram kind of video stuff. You're making actual films that ultimately, if they were longer, these are films that would show up in a theater someday, and building a channel around those from a content perspective. Yeah,
that's the point, though. I mean, I want to build Pixote Films to be a production studio, and eventually, for me, essentially, I want to just pump things out. But eventually, it's also like I would like to create a home for other projects that I like that I may or may not be part of. Anyway. But that's way down the road. Right now, I think the rule for Pixote Films is I have to do any combination or all of act, write, or direct. I think my stamp needs to be in any of those 3 things, just because there's a very specific tone or idea that I'm trying to maintain, and I don't feel like I can maintain it unless I'm in one of those positions. And that tone is, that tone is, I like. I'm a big fan of weird and different and unexpected, and I like pushing the boundaries of that. And I kind of like a half smirk and a tragic moment. Like I was rewatching Saturday Morning Coffee, and there's a man dancing with a baby that isn't his to wonderful music. Yeah. And when you're rewatching knowing the twist, I took it, And if you think about that, how absurd. Yeah. That's a half smirk tragedy. Yeah, and a crazed man running from a shed in the background. But that's not a crazed man. No, it is not. Right? Right? Like there's a lot a stuff that if I wrote down on paper, is kind of funny in a very sad way, right? And that's kind of like what even in my comic books, there's always an element of comedic tragedy. Yes. And isn't tragedy just comedy, right? Isn't that the line anyway? It is. Yeah. All right, I know we're going to wrap here. Yeah. Last time we spoke, I said, I've never been in front of the camera, and I hit you up to write me a spot in your next short film, and you kind of gave me this, as soon as it's right. So I still hit you up on that.
I'm waiting to get written into one of your next
Oh,
films.
you'll be in. I know which one you'll be in.
All right, I play a dead person.
I don't know. I don't know yet.
All right.
I don't know yet, but
Okay.
you'll be in something. Yeah.
Share a little bit with me. What's next on the horizon
Okay.
for you? A couple of the scripts that you keep pulling out of the drawer and almost make them.
Yeah.
What's on your mind? What's next? What are we going to see later this year?
Okay. What's next? Now I know. Me and him were just talking about what he's going to do next, which I'll be part of. But
Yeah.
we'll skip that part, and you guys can find out about that another time.
Sure.
But that's probably what is really next. But what's next on my end is I'm working on 2 stories at the same time right now. One of them, I don't have a name. I don't have a title for either, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'll pitch one of them. One of them is about a man who's being brought in the woods with a bag over his head to be assassinated by 2 hitmen. And in the middle of the botched assassination, there's a zombie attack, and this guy with the mask over his head has no idea what's going on. Comedic tragedy, right?
Perfect.
So you're going to be in that in some way or another. I don't know. You could be any of those. You can even be a zombie. You can be one of the hitmen. Who knows?
Okay.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I would hate to lose you as a producer, but
Yeah.
I guess I owe you one.
Well, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the update. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent work,
Yeah,
partner,
absolutely.
and look forward to doing this again real soon.
There you go. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Please follow Pixote Films on YouTube. Check out Girl in the Closet. Check out Saturday Morning Coffee. There's also other content. You can see plenty of shitty little short films I made a year ago to kind of get to this point. But there's some really good ones, some recent ones that we just put up recently too. Saturday Morning Coffee, Girl in the Closet. Check it out and follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on YouTube. ECFREITS on Instagram. Pixote Films, PIXOTE FILMS on YouTube, and the same thing on TikTok. Thank you, and happy to see you guys around.